Kevin, did you know that everything matters equally?
That's a lie.
Really?
It's a lie. It's flat out, it's a lie. In fact, it's one of the big lies.
Really? It's one of the big six?
One of the big six.
Found in...
Not the big six accounting firms.
The big
Six lies.
Big six
I don't
lies.
think there's six
Got it.
accounting firms.
Got it. Kevin and Fred, kevinandfred.com. We're talking about the one thing, which you probably already know if you've been watching us for the last few weeks, and if you haven't, shame on you. You need to go back and watch the last 3 videos.
Did you seriously just shame
I
on somebody?
Sure did. That was great. Jerk. No, the truth is I know not everything matters equally, and so you probably haven't been watching us because you have more important things to do. But we should matter more. We really should. So here, anyway, we're diving into this idea behind the 6 big lies, because we're going down this path in the book around talking around the one thing and discovering what the one thing really is and how do you find it. But we all have mental blocks and obstacles that we have to overcome. And one of those big obstacles and lies that we've been fed our whole life is everything matters equally. And I'm a sucker for this. I'm like the guy that has to have everything perfect and whatever before I work. But at the end of the day, not everything matters equally.
Right.
Everything does not matter equally. Your efforts in certain areas of your life will return bigger results and rewards than other areas.
What's funny is we know that. I mean, right, we know that up here, yet the natural places to go to is, I gotta make sure it's all covered.
Correct. So somewhere in our life we bought into this. Like, for example, I don't cut the grass in my backyard. It's the grass in my backyard is actually about 4 feet by like 12 feet. Like, that's as big as the grassy area in my backyard.
Probably take you 20 minutes to do it.
Maybe, but I've committed to the fact that everything doesn't matter equally, and that if I'm going to spend my time on the weekends, I'm going to be resting or spending my time with my wife, or I'm going to probably be working. But I'm not actually going to be getting anywhere in life by cutting the grass in my backyard. So
true.
I've decided that doesn't matter equally to me, and I'm not willing to do it. But there are lots of other things in my life.
Yeah.
Where I choose to do minuscule, unimportant things that could be done by other people or completely ignored, and life would still be okay.
Absolutely. Like, I've decided I have no patience for anybody outside of my daughter.
Well, I've
outside
noticed
of my daughter and my wife. I already have naturally a low patient person.
I've noticed that.
But she matters more than everybody else, and so therefore she gets all of my patience.
Yeah. Well, and so here's the deal with this whole lie is that, you know, we hear equality and we think about it from a human and civil rights standpoint. Equality's a freaking lie. I mean, Gary says it right here on page 33 at the top. Equality is a lie, and I agree with him.
It is a lie.
You know, I mean, understanding that helps you make better decisions.
Yeah, the reality is not everything can be treated the same.
I'm not talking about people.
Human rights are different. Equality, it's a lie. But you can't treat everyone and everything exactly the same. And if you think you can, you're fooling yourself at best, and you're probably not even really fooling yourself. You're just not willing to admit it yet.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you have like multiple kids at home, telling me that you're going to spend the exact equal amount of time with each of them every single day is absolutely a lie. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be time. I don't have kids. There's got to be times where some of them need more attention than others.
You have 2 dogs.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's very difficult to pet both at the same time because Kipper is always fighting for more attention.
Kipper gets at least twice the attention that Bernard does.
Absolutely. So Kipper wants me to know that everything doesn't matter equally, and that he needs more attention than Bernard.
Kipper is very clear on that.
He's very clear.
He's very clear on the fact that everything doesn't matter equally.
Yep. So here's the deal with this whole everything matters equally. A lot of us, you know, we work off of to-do lists, and we have this concept and idea that, well, if I have a to-do list, then I'll make sure I do everything, and I'll just write all the stuff down I need to do today. But what we don't work off of is like a priority list, meaning that we don't prioritize the things that are on our to-do list. We write them all down and we just start at whichever one is easier, or some of us start at the tougher one, or some of us start at the one that's closest to us, or the one that just nagged at us more recently, but we don't actually sit down and say which one's going to lead to the most results in my life.
But if we knew what our first domino was,
correct,
it'd be very clear as to why that's more important than everything else on that list, or everything else on your success list, whatever you want to call it. If we knew what that first domino is. So when you get really clear on what your first domino is, you will understand, you will start to live the fact that everything doesn't matter equal, and you will do what matters most first. And then there could be another most important thing after the true number one most important thing is complete.
Yeah, and so here's what Gary and Jay are trying to challenge us to think is get rid of to-do lists and start with success lists, right? Because we've heard this idea of the 80-20 rule before, and it's in the book. I'm not going to go into deep idea about it, but most of you know what it means. Most of you know when we see 80-20, it means that if you look at studies across the entire world and you look at different areas and everything else, there's some things that are found, which is most of the time our results come from 20% of the activities we do.
80% of our
80% of the results come from 20% of the activities, right? So there's got to be something there that what if we did more of the 20% stuff? And this is where the idea behind the one thing really starts taking shape for me personally anyway, is that we hear about 80-20 Pareto's law. Well, Gary and Jay are trying to say, yeah, that's a great law.
But let's go extreme.
Let's go extreme Pareto, though. Like, let's actually take it down to one thing.
What's the 20% of the 20%?
Of the 20% of the 20%.
Then what's the 20% of that?
20%.
And what's the 20%
And let's get down to that one thing and figure out how to do that one thing, and then let the domino effect take over after that, right? Figure out what's most important. So get rid of to-do lists, start working off a success list, and this whole 80-20 idea, it's great, but they want you to go deeper. They want all of us to go deeper and start thinking extreme Pareto.
Just concept. Gary's kind of successful. I'm going to try to follow him.
Everything doesn't matter equally. And on that note, we got to go.
See ya.